just for the record, the saying actually is "Fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice, shame on me."
Okay, right. That is the actual saying.
Today, we are here in New York with a very special friend of mine, somebody that was best man at my wedding. He's somebody who you guys will know. He does not need a bio. But you know what? We're going to drop in a few notes anyway. Do you like that? Notes? He's an artist. He's somebody who has been on more stages than I can count. He is an entrepreneur. He is an investor. He's an amazing father. He's an amazing husband. He's such an inspiration to the world. Welcome to the show, Ja Rule.
Hey, I got to clap for that intro. Hey.
For sure, babe.
I know.
You are so busy, mister, at the moment. My God, it's like, I feel like it's Ja 2.0. Hello.
Hey, I'm just trying to hang in there. You know?
No, I'm so impressed. We're loving it. Everywhere we see you, like, performing and out there, and you've got you and Ashanti, you're doing all your stuff. You guys are rocking it. It's amazing.
It's been a good journey, long journey.
Yeah? What are you passionate about right now?
Icon.
Yeah, of course, and he's wearing the bling on his neck too.
Yeah,
Look,
I should have did this, right? I should have did this to break this. We're here, you know.
I love it. I went on Icon. Icon's amazing because I feel like it's a great platform for artists.
Yes, you were one of my first people on Icon, one of the first supporters of my platform.
I love it.
I thank you for that.
Thank you. Tell us more about Icon. For anyone who doesn't know what Icon is, so obviously Ja is an entrepreneur as well as a musician, which is very exciting and amazing for us because as people, we get to connect on this platform. It's amazing for community. Tell us more about it.
Well, you know, I created it during the pandemic. I wanted to do something for artists. I seen there was a void, you know, for artists to monetize their content in a Web3 type of way. You know, we're living in a Web2, you know, environment right now, society right now, where, you know, everything is about ownership for me, and it should be for artists as well. That's why I wanted to build this platform. So, you know, it's a way for artists to monetize their content in a lot of different ways, from, you know, charging for their lives to, you know, getting tips in real time on their lives. You know, you can do pay-per-view events on Icon. I've added a really cool feature, a Book Now feature, where you can book artists in that moment when it was COVID, you know, for meet and greets, you know, because artists, we do meet and greets after the shows. And obviously that wasn't something that artists were going to be doing in the moment, and we were doing a lot of virtual shows. So I kind of created the whole thing where you can do your virtual show and do a meet and greet with the fans,
So nice.
which was cool. And so, you know, it's a lot of cool features like that. You can have up to 6, you know, people at a time, and have a lot of good conversation in that way. So there's a lot of cool stuff on Icon. But we're building it out, and now I'm actually pivoting into original content, which has been a very fulfilling journey.
Really?
Yeah, because I get to create still and be very creative. So I created my Vibes concert series.
Oh, we love that.
Thank you. And you know, a lot more original content is coming, and now we're going into the Apple TV store and Roku and
Yes! How
Android.
cool is that? You're everywhere. This is just like absolutely taking off, and so it should. It's so unique, and I love it. So congratulations on that.
Thank you.
Before we started, we were talking about something, and I want to share it with our audience. I really enjoyed it, and you were saying how, you know, we all want to be things that we're not.
Yeah.
I found that really interesting because
That's so true. So true.
well, I was saying how I used to want to be an artist. I used to want to perform, and I love singing, but I still get to use my voice, but I just get to use my voice in a motivational way now, you know?
Yeah, I used to want to be an athlete. I used to want to play basketball. You know, I had hoop dreams as a youngin'. You know, I used to want to play football, box. I did it all. And I really admire athletes in a different way. You know, being an artist it's tough. You know, because it's subjective, and a lot of businesses are subjective. Most things are subjective. You don't have to like the athlete you like, but that doesn't matter. As long as they train hard, as long as they work hard, practice hard, they're great at their craft. You can't take that away from them. with being an artist, you know, you could be loved today and not like tomorrow for something you said or something, you know, whatever the case may be, and now that jeopardizes your money, no matter how hard you work, you know?
Wow.
So that's the difference between, you know, being an athlete and being an artist. But you see, all athletes, they want to be entertainers in some way, somehow, and, you know, us artists want to be athletes and other things, but, you know, that it's just...
Leaning into your strengths.
Yeah, it's just nature for people to want to do a lot of things and not just one thing.
So true. And you're saying how we each have our strength.
Yeah.
Will you expand on that?
Yeah, we was talking about a book that I read called Soar With Your Strengths, and it speaks to human nature and how we are as human beings and how we like to work on the things that we're not good at, you know, work on our faults. And the book speaks about how if you're not good at something, the best you'll probably be at it is good. But if you're already naturally good at something, you can be great at that and be in that 1 percentile of people that are phenomenal at something.
If you work on it.
Yeah, if you work on it. So I really started leaning into that and soaring with my strengths. And I realized, this is the crazy thing, I realized that I used to think that my strength was music, was making music. But I realized that my strength is being a creative.
Wow.
So music was just part of that. It was, you know, part of that creativity. But there's so much creativity in me, from film ideas to television ideas to, you know, tech ideas, you know, inventions that I've created, you know, that patent pending and they're still in the works. But I happen to think that these things will change the world when I bring them to market. So you know, sometimes you got to speak things into existence. But
oh yes, you do.
Yeah,
that's what this show's about.
Yeah.
You believe it and feel it into existence. And okay, carry on. I like
no.
this.
So that was it. You know, I just
love that.
You know, I'm just realizing that is my strength. Being a creative is my strength. That's my superpower.
I love that. And everyone has a superpower. If you're listening, trust me, they do. I like that. You see, you've always been in the limelight from when you were young. Like, you came up so young, right? You were like...
Well, I was in my 20s.
Yeah.
But, you know, I started out with my group, and I was about 18 with my group. But that didn't work out the way we planned it, which is another thing that, you know, people need to realize when you're getting into any industry. Failure is a part of success. And there's a saying, I don't love the saying, but I get it. It's like fail fast, fail hard, whatever the fuck it is. Something like that. But I don't love that saying because I don't like to fail at nothing. I'm very competitive.
I'm glad you're honest.
I like to win, win, and win. You know, so
me too.
I don't love that saying, but I do understand it.
Yes.
Because it definitely prepares you for the success. It lets you know what roads to take, you know, what roads you need to navigate in order to get to the success. And, you know, sometimes there's forks in the road and you might pick the wrong road. And it's happened. But once you've done that, you know, okay, next time you come to the fork, okay, I gotta go this way. And that's the importance of lessons learned, failing. You know, Warren Buffett, he said something really, really interesting. He said he won't even do business with a startup unless the person that's doing this failed twice before in business.
How interesting.
Because he says that's why he knows that they know what not to do.
100%.
And that's how half of it, you know. Having a vision and pushing forward is part of it, but knowing what not to do is also a big part of it.
100%, but how do we know not what to do? By failing.
Exactly.
By tripping.
Exactly.
But I always say to people, don't look at me now by who I am today. Look at me by how many times I have fallen down and got back up.
Exactly.
How many times I have had to stand back up because no one ain't paying my bills. No one's doing it for me.
You know, most people can't relate because most people are not decision makers. So if you're not making mistakes, you're not making decisions. You know?
Yeah.
You can't make mistakes if you're not the one making the decision.
This is so true.
You know, so those fall in the laps of, you know, the heads of these situations. And you know, that's what makes it even that much harder, because you're making these decisions, and they're not just for you; they're for a whole team of people that these decisions affect. So it's important that you learn from those lessons.
100%. You have to. And then it's from that you won't make that same mistake twice.
Absolutely.
You know what that saying goes, fool me once, okay. It's
you fool me twice, you ain't gonna fool me again. You fool me twice, you ain't gonna fool me again. George Bush, give it to good old George.
So true. But that's it. That's how we learn. We grow.
Yeah,
so you got to plant seeds in your garden of things which are exciting for you, things that you're passionate about, things that are like, I'm planting seeds. You've planted so many seeds and they're coming to fruition. It's like, look at Icon. That was just a seed. You're a creative.
Just for the record, the saying actually is, fool me once, shame on you.
Fool me twice, shame on me.
Okay, right. That is the actual saying. We're not George Bush over here. We know the words. But one of the most fun parts about what was that question again?
I was saying about planting seeds, and you planted the seed of creativity.
Yes. One of the most fulfilling things about being a creative is having that thought. One day when you're in the shower or, sitting on the toilet, whatever you get your thought process. Mine's coming to think tank.
Oh, really?
I call it the think tank.
What's that?
It's my bathtub.
Oh, mine's in the shower. Yes.
I get in my bathtub and
water.
I fill it with fluffy bubbles.
So cute.
And I get real bougie and fucking sitting there and smoke me a joint, and I come up with all kinds of amazing ideas, and I call it my think tank. But the most fulfilling part of that is having that idea and seeing it come to fruition. There's nothing better than that. Even with music, having a song in your head that's just, something that was personal to you or whatever, and then you create that, and then the whole world sees that vision. And then you get, people that'll say, yo, that record helped me through something.
Wow.
What you were going through, I was too going through that, and it helped me. That is the most fulfilling thing. Starting something from its inception and seeing it through to
So it's the acorn that turns into the oak tree.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
Or
you're
the caterpillar
creating.
that turns into the butterfly.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And actually, I want to add to that, and you guys know this at home if you've heard me on any of my previous shows. So there's this story of this cocoon, and it was hanging off a branch, and this farmer walks over to it, and the cocoon is like rustling, and it looks like it's struggling. You can see there's something inside it. The butterfly's trying to get out, and it's rustling, and he's like, I want to help it. So the farmer slices off the bottom of the cocoon, and thinking he would help the butterfly, when the cocoon breaks, he cut it, and the butterfly flies and dies. It splats on the floor because
it wasn't ready to.
It was meant to go through that struggle to strengthen its wings so that when it flies out, eventually it can fly, but its muscles weren't strong enough, so it can. Yeah. So when we talk about that, it's funny you bring that up. It just goes to show we have to go through the struggles. Yeah. Like, we've been through struggles. We've both been through crazy struggles where, some people wouldn't have come out the other side.
I love the struggle. It shows who's built for it, who's built for the struggle, who has the character. When I went through, some of my struggles, I got to see the character of a lot of people, employees that worked for me at the time that, I'm not going to take anything away from them. They were young kids and didn't sign up for everything that had, transpired. But the character of a person to fight or run, it's like the only human instinct we have, fight or flight.
Yes.
What are you going to do when your back is against the wall, when there's, are you gonna fight or are you gonna run? And I seen a lot of people run, man. When it wasn't even their fight to run from. I was fighting it. All you had to do was stand behind me in solidarity, and we all get to it together. But people just ran. They just ran and they ran. And it just showed me the character of people. And I can't blame them because, like I said, sometimes you don't sign up for these things. So I don't blame them, but you do get to see, that some people are riders and they're fighters, and some people are not. They would rather
You know what's interesting about this topic is how when I go through struggles, I always say I'm never gonna let a bad experience go to waste.
Right.
Like in the moment, it feels horrendous, and I just embrace that emotion I'm going through in the time, and then I think, okay, this is trying to teach me something.
Yeah.
I'm going through something right now. It's happened in my life and that person's life and at the same time. We're all going through something.
Yeah.
So why is it showing up in my life? It's definitely not to run from, because if I run from it, I'm not going to evolve.
Right.
I have to evolve from this, like the caterpillar, right?
You gotta face it.
Yeah, you have to face things. And, you know, I've had to face stuff before. And how badly do you fucking want it?
You gotta face your fears. You know, Will Smith says something that it always sticks with me. He's like, the greatest things in life are on the other side of fear. And that's so true, because the things people want the most, they fear the most. I want to be an actress. I want to be a singer. I want to be a movie star. Okay, what are you doing to become that? And the people who do things to become that, they're so scared of rejection and failure that they never become that.
Wow.
You know how many times I was rejected? Like, you know how many great stories there are of rejection for artists that you're like, how?
Yes.
How did they not see you?
100%.
There's so many stories like that, and I'm living proof of that. It is, you know, it's crazy because I've had my struggles, but I know other artists that are great, that have struggled more than me. I feel like, you know, once I got in the room and I opened up my mouth and I started rapping, people seen my talent. It was like it happened for me. Like when I got in the right rooms with the right people and got a chance to do what I do,
people saw you.
People saw it. I know stories of amazing artists like Jay-Z and DMX, and people didn't see them at first.
Wow.
Like Jay brought his first album, Reasonable Doubt. You know, these are stories that are documented to a bunch of labels. Dr. Dre brought The Chronic to a bunch of labels, and people were like, I don't get it. And you look at these people now, like, how do you run a label? Like
yeah, how did you miss
how
that?
Did you miss DMX? The same thing, like, you know. And it's like, how did you miss these guys? But obviously they became who they are because you can't hide that kind of talent or miss that kind of talent for long. You know, but it just goes to show that you know, there's gonna be rejection. There's gonna be people slam doors in your face. Imagine if these artists would have said, "People not digging me, man. I'm just gonna go do something else."
That means that you didn't want it enough.
But
they didn't give up.
They didn't give up. It's tough though.
Hello, friend. I'm so excited that you're here. Welcome. If you haven't yet got your copy of the book, it is out now. Make sure you order it from one of your favorite retailers below. It's in any of your local bookstores, no doubt. So grab it from the bookstore in person or hit the link below. And when you get your receipt number, come back here and go to step 2, which is where you just insert your receipt number, and then boom, step 3, you get access to your free gifts, which means number 1, you get access to the lifetime course of Be It Until You Become It. You get all the modules, all 4 modules, including the MBS method as a bonus module on number 2 as a gift from me to you. And that will be for lifetime. That's for you to keep. And then number 2, you get access to the workbook, which we spent months writing. As I was writing the book, as I was creating things, I created exercises which are going to help bridge the gap between the life that you're living now and the life that you want to lead. This workbook is phenomenal, and it goes so beautifully alongside the book. It helps you to really transform and step into that version of you that you are born to be. And then gift 3 is winning the chance of potentially having a one-on-one session with me worth over $10,000. So if you want a chance to do any of those things, well, you definitely get the first 2, but number 3, you may win. So when you buy the book today, put the receipt number in, you'll get access to the lifetime Be It Until You Become It course, and you will also get the workbook and the chance to have a one-on-one session with me. Hit the link now, and I'll see you soon. But then the people who do, like you, like Jay, like we can talk about any of these, and we look at them and we know the tenacity and the dedication that they put in.
It takes special people to get to the other side of it.
It does with everything.
Because you got to be willing to go through the fire to get to the other side.
That's beautiful.
And everybody's not willing to do that. And so.
Okay, if you had, so I have an acronym for fear, and it's false evidence appearing real.
Okay.
What would fear be for you? I know you're on the spot. What would fear be for you? Probably fight.
I don't have any fear. I don't fear much. I think that's what enables me to keep going. Like I'm an adrenaline junkie.
So that means you actually enjoy fear. It's
Yeah,
like,
I jump out of planes.
you do all that shit?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Like, you do all that shit? Yeah,
That takes a special kind of human, because I'm the one sitting there like, y'all have fun, I'll have my tea.
No, I love it. I love that type of shit.
Wow.
And, you know, I hear stories of people like, I get nervous before shows or big events, and I'm like, I get anxious. Like, I love that shit. Like, I'm like sitting behind the back of my show, like, is it starting? Are we going? Is we ready? Are we? And I think that's what keeps me being able to keep going. Wow. Even when I'm in tough times, tough moments. I just, even that. I was talking to my wife the other day, and I said, babe, I said, that's also a side of a character of a person. When they go through hard times. A lot of people cower and don't want to be seen. Me, I'm like, let me get out here and show everybody that I'm walking with my head high. Because that's important for people to see.
I did that too.
And it's a mind fuck. Because they're like, yo, is he's either crazy or, or he really didn't do the shit. Or he's, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
One of the two. But you got to make a decision when you see a person that confident. You got to look at that person and say, I admire that, man. And I know when I see people, I was in prison. And when I was in prison, that is like the toughest moment, the toughest thing you can go through. But I leaned on men that went through way tougher times than me. Like, I thought about what Nelson Mandela went through when he was locked up, and the jails that he had to endure. And so I look at the floor that I was sleeping on, or the jail that I was in, and I was like, this shit is a hotel compared to what he was in.
Yeah.
And that's the thought process. You got to put yourself
Yes.
in these bad situations. There's men that went through 10 times worse than what I'm going through and came out on the other side smiling.
Yes.
I'll be fine. And a lot of nights I needed that, to get through. You know what I mean? But it was there for me. And it's there for you. It's there for everybody. Like, those inspirational stories, those inspirations, those people that have been through hell and back, those stories are there for people to be inspired by.
I agree.
And that, it's just so unfortunate when I hear stories of suicide and stuff like that, because I'm like, damn, I wish I could have had one conversation with that person. I feel like I could have, because I've been through a lot, and I've been through things that I feel like a lot of people would have gave up and been like, fuck that, I don't want to face that, I don't want to go outside, whatever. And it's those stories of resilience that I think people need more of.
Resilience is beautiful, and you are like a walking, talking bag of resilience, and that's so beautiful.
I try to be.
And what's so inspiring, I think like resilience is who we are, not resistance. Resistance stops you from getting the thing you want. Yeah. Resilience helps you to embrace everything. Yeah. And then without the bad times, you don't know what the good times are. So you have to go through the bad, because then you feel the good, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And like, we aren't the same people. You aren't the same person. I'm not the same person. You're not the same person that we were 10 years ago, let alone 5 minutes ago. Yeah. Like, we are not the same person. Yeah. We're physically, in a biomolecular level, in our cells, in our DNA, we are a different human being after 7 years. So we are a completely different makeup.
Is that
true? Yeah, completely. Yeah, so it's a scientific fact. We are, after 7 years, a new human being in every single cell in our body. So now we're standing here. We're
that is very, very interesting. I didn't know that.
So it means like if you knew me 7 years ago, okay, I feel bad you don't get to know me today. Yeah. Because I'm a new person. Yeah. Like, I say to people, you don't know, when people want to judge from afar, it's like, you don't know who I am today. Like, who I've become, the woman that I am, the person you are, that's not my fault that you don't get to experience it. Yeah. Because I wish you did, because you'd love it.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's deep. I didn't know that we shed our skin every 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, we shed everything. Yeah,
you should totally talk about that. That's so, like, good. It's like a topic which people need to know, because I think people give up and they don't realize, honey, you're 1 year away from being a whole new person. Yeah. Like, come on. Do you know what I mean? Like, let's go. Lean into it.
Well, okay. I must be brand new, because I feel... I must be in my 7th right now.
Yeah, baby, I'm I'm my seventh. That's so dope.
Yeah.
You should do a song on that,
You're my
honey. I
seventh.
like that. You
Yeah,
should do
I
it
like
like,
that.
I would buy that. I'll be like, I know what he means. I'm going to promote that. Yo, I'm putting that as my entry song when I go on stage. Just
Don't give me no ideas. I'll be in the
Babe,
studio tonight.
yes. Oh my God. Yes. Do it. Oh my God. I have my voice on the beginning being like, every 7 years. Every 7 years.
You gotta do a special intro.
You shed
Yeah.
your skin every 7 years, and then you come in. Oh my God, yeah, we're gonna. You lot just stay tuned, yeah.
Stay tuned. The 7th.
Stay tuned.
I like
love
that.
it, babe. This is
Dope.
so good.
Dope.
Do you have any final words that you wish you could have shared to your younger self? If your younger self were here right now, your 22-year-old self, maybe younger, maybe just your younger self, looking up at you right now, what would those words be?
Wow.
It's deep, huh? Because you look at it.
Yeah, if I could tell my younger self anything, it'd probably be to stay in school, get your education. I think that is the one thing that I lacked, through this journey. But I did what I needed to do to catch up. I feel, I read a lot.
And you went through the school of life.
Went to the school of life, school of hard knocks. Took my Harvard business class.
Wow.
I've took the steps to educate myself, but I feel like I could have been so far ahead if I would have took education seriously at a young age. But that plagues my community, and so I'm looking to push it forward and help educate the youth in my community. I think that's the most important thing, because I know for me, I feel like that's the thing that I missed, that I was missing. I wish I had more of. I wish I knew. I wish I had financial literacy when I was making, my first millions of dollars and stuff. Instead of blowing it on cars and jewelry and friends and all these things.
Which, by the way, is what everybody did. We've all if you've ever hit a large amount of money.
But it's deeper for the black community, because there's so much catching up to do. Like, usually, I see a lot of my kids' friends, they all grew up in Saddle River, so a lot of friends are white. And I see the way their families and their structure and everything is. My family is structured that way now, which is great. But that family structure wasn't there in my younger years and the generation before me, So you start to see how, these things are very important. So when I first get money, or a black person first gets money, they have 10 people to take care of. They would buy their mama a house. They would get everybody out the hood. If my kids gonna get money like that, they ain't gotta worry about mom and dad. Mom and dad good. You know what I mean? Like that's how most white kids grow up. Mom and dad are good. I don't have to worry about mom and dad. They set me off on a trajectory of success. And I'm good. And I have them as a crutch to fall back on. That's the difference. Like it was feast or famine for me. Either I succeed at this, or everybody fucking dies. And it's the same way now. Like, my kids, thank God that I was able to give them, allow them these things. Great education. Wow. They all graduated from college. They're all doing fine. And now they're able to, go and earn and do things for themselves and have, be productive people in society. You know what I mean? Which is amazing. But it's still, for me, I'm still the only breadwinner in my whole family. Like, generations of and so it's like, if there's no me, it falls apart. So now I have to think generationally. I have to do things now that, my kids can live off of, generational wealth. Yeah, my thought process just has to shift a little bit. I have to think differently. And thank God I have a great support system. I have great guys that are very smart guys that I'm able to pick their brains when I need to, know things and make smart decisions. But it's a journey, and it's a cycle that the black community is we're struggling and fighting to break. It's not easy, but it's happening slowly but surely.
You're gonna go in there and inspire.
You got to start somewhere. It's got to start. When I hear a lot of people talk about it, they complain about where we're at and what it is. I'm like, it is what it is. We got to start somewhere though. So knowing is, if you know what it is, correct it or start correcting it.
100%. I love it. Wow. John, this has been so deep and so beautiful.
Thanks for having me, Natasha. I
Thank
appreciate
you.
it, man. Thank you for sure.
We're going to come back for part 2 again for sure. When we can
Yeah.
oh my God, when we see 7th, yeah?
Yeah, so hopefully we'll be, my new studios will be up and running. We can hang out at the studios. And
Excited. It'll be amazing.
For sure.
Thank you so much for coming. And you guys, if you've enjoyed today's show, make sure that you tune in again next week for more of this incredible news, excitement, and knowledge. Thank you so much for watching, you guys. Subscribe, like, and share with a friend. That's how we spread knowledge in the world. We love you.
Love
Thank
is love.
you.
Peace.